All right, this video is going to go over 8.2b, which is more solving polynomials. And remember, the whole goal of this is to get it fully factored and set each factor equal to 0. So you should be thinking about that as you go through these problems. Factor everything fully. So like this first one has a difference of squares, x plus 5, x minus 5. And then this right here, this is a difference of cubes. So if you factored that fully, it would be x minus 2, x squared plus 2x plus 4. So this right here in red is fully factored. So now you can set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve it. So it'd look like this. X plus 5 equals 0. Go solve him by minusing 5. X equals negative 5. So I'm doing that for all of these factors. So like this one would become x equals 5 if you worked it out. This one would be x equals 2. Of course, I had this x equals negative 5, which brings us to this guy right here. Anytime you run a sum or a difference of cubes, the trinomial part of it will not factor. So that means you're going to have to use the quadratic equation to solve it. So identify your A, your B, and your C, and just plug it in. So this one would look like negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times A times C, and it's all over 2A. All right, simplify this. I would probably start in the root. So this root is going to be root 4 minus 16. Well, root 4 minus 16 is root negative 12. I would take the I out and call it root positive 12. I would then break down root 12 to be root 4 times root 3. And the square root of 4 is 2, so this becomes 2 root 3. Just don't forget, you had an I right here. So it's actually 2I root 3. We keep running across the same exact problem. Maybe one of these times it'll be something different. All right, and basically right here you would be done, but you have to check and see if all three of these numbers are divisible by the same number. These are all divisible by 2, so you can reduce them all. Don't touch the root. So this one would become negative 1 plus or minus I root 3. And since it's over 1, you don't need the over 1 part. So that's this answer right here. And I would be done. Okay, moving right along. Factor this fully. So like this one becomes x plus 7, x plus 3. It's a trinomial. This one is a difference of, or a sum of cubes. So it's going to turn into this, x plus 5, x squared minus 5x plus 25. All right, so these guys just get set equal to 0 and solved. So x equals negative 7, x equals negative 3, and x equals negative 5. Those are easy. And I work them this exact way, how I got to that one, that negative 5. It's just this trinomial that's going to give you the problem here. He will have to be run through the quadratic equation just like the other side. So it's going to look like this. X equals negative b means change the sign at b no matter what. So positive 5 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, and it's all over 2a. All right, simplify the root part first. This is going to become the root of 25 minus 100. Well, 25 minus 100 is negative 75. Take the I out, call it positive 75. Break down root 75 to be root 25 times root 3. Because the square root of 25 is 5, so you get 5 root 3. Just don't forget you had an I sitting in front, so it's actually 5I root 3. So this one would turn into x equals 5 plus or minus 5I root 3. And it's all over 2. And like over here where we reduced in pink, you can't do that on this one because 5 and 2, there's no numbers that reduce nicely with those. So my answer would be x equals 5 plus or minus 5i root 3 over 2 as a tricky one. Okay, moving right along. This next one, factor it fully. Okay. Now they did it to us again where they gave us a cubic. So keep going. You would get x plus 3, x squared minus 3x plus 9, and then you have your x minus 2. So this x plus 3 set equal to 0, you would get x equals negative 3. That one's easy. This x minus 2 set it equal to 0, you would get x equals 2. That one's easy. It's this this middle one. He has to go through the quadratic equation just like the others. So it'd look like this. 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared minus 4ac. I didn't need that parentheses there. It's going to bother me. C, and it's over 2a. All right, simplify this more. You would get 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 36 all over 2. 9 minus 36 is negative 27. Take the I out. Call root 27 root 9 times root 3. Root 9 is 3, so it's like I3 root 3, which we're going to change to be 3I root 3. So when it's all said and done, this answer turns into 3 plus or minus 3I root 3, and it's all over 2. And I can't reduce all three of those lead coefficients, so I leave it like that. Okay, last problem. Factor it fully. They gave us another cube, so keep going. Go find these easy factors. This one would be negative 1. This one would be 4. And then this quadratic has to go through the quadratic equation. So it would look like this. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Simplify this root part. It turns into be 1 minus 4, which is just negative 3. Which you could change to be, I'll write it over here because I'm done. You could change that root negative 3 to be I root positive 3. And that would be my answer. Okay, so basically the main takeaway is they seem to like the problems that give you a cubic. Once you factor it once, you will have to keep going and factor that cubic. And when you get to the trinomial part, it will never factor more. You will always have to run it through the quadratic equation. So you're going to need to know how to simplify these things. All right, so hope this video helped.